How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be working on the second build part to the mud mower. I got a bunch of new parts off of a donor mower. So start off with, I got the new starter. I ended up breaking the starter the other day. I spun around this nut too much, and now it's loose, as you can see. The wire on the inside, I think, disconnected from it. So I'm going to be switching that out. And the mower had a newer starter on it, and it also had a voltage regulator, which is what I need. Mine blew, so it doesn't charge the battery, which is an issue I've had. And then I got new gas line. The gas line on this it's scaly, it's getting old, so I got new gas line. And then I also got some spare parts here. I got a ground. My phone's going off. I got new gaskets for the carburetor, which is cool. A bunch of spare bolts. I got a spare cover. For the valve, for the valve cover, just in case I ever crack mine. And I got some more cables. But the stuff I'm going to be installing today is the gas line, voltage regulator, and the starter. And I also got the ignition switch working. I screwed around with a lot of the wiring. I did it off camera. Kind of got it all neat for the most part and tucked up, so it's not touching anything. So the key ignition actually wasn't working because I needed to hardwire another wire for the safety switch, and I hardwired all the rest of the plugs here, right here. As you can see, they're all bunched up right there and zip tied together. Stay together, so I don't want them to get snagged on anything. I had to hardwire all that, so now the switch actually engages the starter solenoid and will actually start. But the issue is now, as I broke like that piece, like I said, for the starter, so I gotta put the new starter in. I also got the new spark plug for it, NGK. The plug on this is kind of old. Another thing I want to do today is I want to mount up this toolbox in the back. It'll be good for like little storage. You'll be able to put drinks in here. I'll be able to put spare tools in here and spark plug stuff like that if I ever need it. And then I got the hood that I need to mount back on, and I got the light bar right here that I'm going to mount on it. If I have time today, I'm going to take the rear end out and I'm going to weld it. So basically I have a locked rear end, and that way the tires are always both going at the same time no matter what. That'd be a lot better for traction. And in a future video, I'm going to be mounting, probably the next one, I'm going to be mounting these four-wheeler tires that are on 8-inch rims on these 8-inch rims that are on the mower. So I have four-wheeler tires, which will help so much. And I also need to find some kind of spacer for this because, as you can see, the tire wobbles. It has since I got it, and I don't want it to wear the hell out of the bearings. So if I put a spacer, that way it's not going to have all that movement. That'll be good. So we have quite a bit of things to do, so instead of continuing to talk, I'm going to get to work on it. One thing that I'm trying to figure out what I want to do right now is how I'm going to mount this box for the battery. I did want to cut out the small little tray that's already in here and then put this box in it, but I don't know if that's going to work out. I might just temporarily take this and put it down here. We'll figure out what I do here. I'm just going to start on getting the starter and all that crap taken out and then put the new stuff in, and then we're going to go from there. It actually works better than my other starter. My other starter had some kind of issue where the volts didn't go through it properly. That works awesome. Sweet. It's actually a little longer than I kind of expected it to be. That's better. Jeez, I don't know why that was so tight. I think I actually broke the spark plug prying on it. Yep. Indeed I did. It's a brand new one right there. Alright, so I found something a little thicker, and I think, oh yeah, that'll work good. I think if I double these up on both sides, and then I take and put two of these smaller ones, I'll probably, smaller ones on the inside, do something like that. And I'll take this, put it on, and I'll put one more thin one on here. And this looks like all I can do right there. And I put the pin in, which I got new pins as well. See what I got for play here. So there's still a little bit of play. It's not quite sandwiched very tightly. So I'm thinking maybe putting another one of these thicker ones on the outside. That might hold it a lot better. Yeah, it holds it tight. See, I think no matter what, those bearings have a little bit of play. But with this gap being taken up, it won't move back and forth on the shaft, so it should help it a little bit. Alright guys, so it's later on in the day. As you can see, it's dark out now. So when I last left off on this earlier, I finished putting the spacers in for the wheel. And as you can see, I just took the little pin and just wrapped it around on both sides. Looks good, and it's properly spaced now, so the wheel won't be going like this when I'm riding now. So the only thing I have left to do now is I need to mount the hood, mount the light bar, and then I need to mount the toolbox here. I may not get to welding the rear end tonight, but I am at least going to mount the hood, get the light bar on, and then we'll see how I feel when that's all done. So I have this spot on the hood that I want to weld and fix up right here. That way it sits even, and it's not really a whole lot that holds this hood on to begin with, so I want all the stability I can get. So. So after some grinding and welding and yada yada, we got it back. Pretty decent shape. It's not perfect, but when I come back to paint the hood and all that crap later, I'm gonna sit here and I'll fiddle with it. I'll clean up all the rust and I'll actually smooth it out. Taking a little Bondo over here and putting a blob of it on there, sanding it down smooth. That'll get rid of all these little pits, but. For what I could do, really, the welder kept burning through it, but I did build up a lot of weld over here, so I kind of thickened it up and strengthened it, and then I grinded it down right underneath. That way the bolt goes in and it fits flush. So that's a temporary fix for now. Like I said, I'll just add extra strength to it because this, and then a couple other points like here and here, the only thing that hold it on so it's not like super crazy strong as it is. I may even later on reinforce this, put something thicker here. Hell, I may even make my own fenders and stuff in the future. I don't know, but it's all welded up and fixed. So yeah, like I said, temporary fix. When I get to actually adding paint eventually, I'll go back and I'll fine tune all this, but I didn't want to get too picky with it because we still got a little rust here and a little rust here. So I mean, there's stuff to fine tune later on. Not too shabby. Alright, so I got it on there as best as I could. I am missing a bolt down here on each one. I don't even see where the hole lines up, which doesn't really make sense to me. I know this was one of them, so I got that, and I got the ones down that hold, little mounts down here. So that's, that's all that really matters. I mean, if it's on there good, it doesn't really shake or move around a bunch, so I'm not gonna really have to worry about anything, I don't think. I may just end up taking this hood off eventually. I haven't really decided, but I put it on there for now, of course. I'm gonna drill the holes now, mount the light bar, and then probably wrap it up for tonight and then finish the rest of it tomorrow morning. Now, position wise, I'm trying to think if I have it further on the edge. Well, it's probably going to catch on this lip, so about right there is probably about as far back as I want to go. And I'm not going to be too picky with this, but that looks perfect right there. That'll do. That'll do. Kind of an awkward angle here. Alright guys, so it's a couple days later, and I got to finish up these last couple things on the mower. So I decided with the battery box, I'm going to put it off to the side here. I think it'd just be better off, to where I still can easily access it, but I want to be able to still put the toolbox here. Sorry, it's been a long day. It's like literally getting dark out now, and I'm finally getting to this. Hopefully I'm actually going to be able to finish welding the rear end today, but that's the other thing we're going to do. We're going to pull the rear end out after I move the battery box over, put the toolbox in the back. Got to jack this up with the little come along that's hanging from the ceiling, and got to pull the rear end out and get to working on that. If I don't finish it today, I'm going to finish it tomorrow. It's still going to be the same video. It's just, I'm trying to make time here and there to get everything done here. So I got the hood all figured out. I just needed to cut the bolts down because they came down too far. I just used a hacksaw, and now it fits good. And put the light bar, plugged it in, and it works good. Now these light bars I got off Amazon. It was a 2-pack of 7.5-inch light bars. I think it was like 40 bucks, and they're pretty bright. This is the same kind of light bar I have on the Shizuki, same exact one. So there's that, and obviously I got the hood on there all secured now. So like I said, we just gotta pull the rear end out of here after we swap the battery box over and put the toolbox in the back. We gotta pull the rear end out and gotta weld it. It's the first time me doing this, just so you guys know, the first mower I've ever welded the rear end on, so it's pretty easy, honestly. I mean, anybody could really do it if you have a welder and you have access to the internet and YouTube. People will show you how to do it. It's pretty basic though, and I'll show you guys how to do it, of course, when I get to pulling it out and getting up on the table over there. But let's get started with this and hopefully get it all done by the end of the day. Looks a little weird, but temporary. Now I could just self-tap this in. It actually pretty much goes right along the whole length of this thing, which is quite perfect. Now, I could do it. I obviously don't want to be smacking into it the whole time. kind of has a good about like this much where it's just hanging off the edge, and then you're gonna have a stability issue. If somebody leans on it, can bend it forward. So I think it'd probably take some kind of metal plating. I could either self-tap it here, or I could actually weld it on here. It'd probably be stronger if I welded it on here. And that way I could extend this by double, giving that the extra space. So I'm gonna find something out of my collection of metal over here, and we'll see what we can kind of figure out here. So I found this plate right here. This is actually the same metal I used right here. I took a piece out for a bracket I made for my truck. It's plenty strong for sure. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll cut some pieces out of it, and I'll kind of have it probably something like that, and I'll just cut it obviously so it doesn't overhang, and I'll probably trim off a little bit here because I only need enough to really take up that space right there. So it's been about 3 weeks now since I've touched the mud mower, so I need to cut out the little plate that I'm going to weld onto here for the toolbox, and I got to pull the rear end out to weld it. I have it all marked out here already, so I'm going to give this little handsaw a try. Alright, so there's the bead. I did it all the way across on the bottom of here, and then I did it obviously on the sides here. It didn't come out the greatest here because it kept getting like kinked up or something. It's something, I don't know if it's something with the gun or what, on the welder. Spray it right on there. So it cleaned up pretty good. You can see the screws on the other side. I gotta take those out. Alright, so the part that we're gonna weld is on the inside of here. Now you have these gears right here that move freely on this axle, or this, I don't know, I keep saying axle, this shaft. You weld this whole gear all the way around on both sides so it stays solid. So I'm actually going to use my buddy's welder again with the gas set up to weld this. I'm sure it'll penetrate the gear, you know, the metal, you know, good enough. At least I hope so. I don't really want to bust out the stick welder because it's a little more annoying to get to. It's behind shit over there. So gonna hook this sucker up and weld it up, grease it up, and throw this last component back. I got pretty much everything lubed up and ready to go. Just to help you guys out, to show you how I'm able to go around and weld all the way. So what I did is I took these little washers out. They fit right in here and they pop and keep this little shaft in place. They held them by these little C-clips. And I took those out so I can push the gear all the way up and actually spin it, so that way I can weld all the way around, because it's going to have more strength if you can, you know, weld it all the way around than if you just have tacks all over it. Yeah, I would definitely say that worked a lot better. I don't think those gears are ever going anywhere again. So what I ended up doing is this shaft, like this nut, was actually touching right these welds on the inside. So like I said, I took the nut right off of the gear, and I welded this on and then grinded it and rounded it off. So now it fits in there good. So now all I gotta do is screw it back on, and then I just need to grease up the rest of this, drop it in there, and then we're good. And also, before I forget, this shaft right here wouldn't line up to the point where the little lip for the C-clip would go in. So I'm just gonna weld this side and this side together, you know, just in between these guys right here. All kinds of modifications here, but it's gonna work. Well, there we go. I don't think it's coming off again. All right, so this stuff's all cleaned out. So I just need to throw all this stuff back on here, same way it came off. Alright, all back together, all tightened up. So just gotta drop it in the transmission, grease the rest of it up, throw it back together. I use like the majority of my grease to grease it up. I might have over greased it a little bit. I mean, I don't know if you can really over grease it, because I mean, it's not like I packed the case so full that it doesn't shut. But I mean, as you can see, I put a good amount in here. This is actually an oilless transmission. I didn't mention it before. I didn't actually know it was. I did a little research last night because I wanted to make sure I greased it up properly, and it's an oilless one. I guess people change them from oilless to oil, but I don't have any fills on this, no anywhere, so it's better off just to put grease. It's not a rear end. I'm going to keep in it forever. I do want to convert to a 5-lug, so but that's all locked now. So I got the rear end all bolted up. I was going to do the 15 foot-pounds, but apparently that's too much. It snapped one of the bolt heads off, so I'm going to have to go through, take the case off later, put some vice grips on it, and pull it out. So I guess screw what some people say online, and when you're in doubt, you just take a wrench and send it. I actually ended up breaking another one too, so now I just got to pop it in the mower and see how it goes. So the rear end's back in, all bolted up, pulleys in there, everything, all the links are connected, everything like that. So just got to throw the tires back on it, and then it's test time. Self-tapped in, put some drinks in there, spark plugs, some extra tools. Having it up the way I did all night, some oil came out the muffler, so it's gonna smoke a bit. So I got oil in the carb again, like I did when I pulled this motor originally. I should have learned my lesson, but I guess I didn't. So I'm gonna have to clear that out, because it means it dripped down into the cylinder when it was at that angle, which I kind of should have known. But so I gotta clean that out now, and then we'll be able to test fire, because it won't run with all that oil in there. actually works way better than it used to. Having the locked rear end, I can tell, makes a huge difference. But the rear end's holding up good. So we're gonna try to do a burnout here before we end this. About as good as a burnout she's gonna do. I don't know if I'd really consider it a burnout, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.